couple of strategies when it comes to mobile applications, mobile use, mobile commerce. The growth of mobile has caused marketers to rethink traditional digital approaches. And there's a couple of philosophies that are out there that they tend to have some similarities, but there's also some unique differences. One answer has been the concept of mobile first. This is the concept of designing mobile products first and then designing for desktop and laptop environments after that fact. And part of the argument here is that because mobile is growing so quickly and its use is overpowering and overshadowing traditional computers and laptops and that sort of thing as people access content online, the idea is that if you develop a mobile app first, it is the quickest way to be able to reach your customer base. Now, the roots of the mobile first strategy have been more on the IT side and the operations side than they really have been from a marketing standpoint. So marketing's kind of falling behind when it comes to this approach. And there really hasn't been enough study in talking about some of the problems that we've discussed with mobile sales not really meeting up to expectations. So there's still some troubleshooting that needs to happen there. Now, other marketers have responded with a competing concept called audience first. Proponents of this approach recommend using the massive amounts of data produced by digital media to precisely define target audiences, their needs, their wants, their behaviors, and they're doing this both in the online world and the offline world. So they're taking a look at all these things and then from there developing a strategy that follows the audience definition. So in that aspect, it's not necessarily mobile better than desktop or desktop better than mobile, but trying to take an overall look at the target audience, their behaviors, their psychographics, and determining what the best course of action would be. Now, both of these approaches do have a certain amount of merit, but they both fail to fully recognize the impact of all the channels available to the consumer, especially offline ones that recognize the primacy of the retail store and consumer purchasing. And this is where we get the term omnichannel marketing from. If you take a look at the graphic that's there in your notes, this comes out of page 219 of your textbook. This shows 6 different aspects that need to be considered when it comes to omnichannel marketing. You do have the social media aspect, how people talk about brands online, how they relate to brands online. There is the mobile aspect, the fact that people are accessing the internet more and more with smart devices. Online in general, the ability to be able to connect with brands and organizations. Big data, also really important when it comes to an omnichannel marketing perspective. Big data is the overall arching term that talks about all the information that is collected from customer bases, from all the different platforms that they use, and collecting that information in such a way that marketers can use that information to be able to construct the best campaigns and solicitations and ways to make their brand awareness and brand reputation stronger in the eyes of the consumer. CRM, Customer Relations Management. In this area here, it's kind of that idea of taking the social media marketing cycle that we've talked about in past chapters and using the tools of listening and developing personas and targeting your message in just the right way on just the right platforms to the right people at the proper times and means, and also having a responsiveness to your customer base. All of that providing a quality of customer experience that consumers are looking for when they interact with businesses online. And then finally, there is the physical store itself, the brick and mortar. Because no matter how good we're able at delivering online content, there's still that aspect of being able to physically go somewhere to see it, to touch it, to sense it in the physical time and space. And the fact that you can just go and pick up something and you purchase it right then and there, and you own it right then and there, and it's yours to use. All these things are what comprise omnichannel marketing, and they all have a significance and a place when it comes to making an impact on a customer. The omnichannel perspective includes all of these things. The purchase channels are supported by big data that profiles the individuals and the customer relationship management capabilities that facilitate reaching them at receptive moments. So all of them play a role at reaching out to the customer and trying to do so at times and places and points at which the customer is ready to receive and embrace a message. All right, location-based marketing. Location-based services have changed from check-in apps to other ways of reporting location and other technologies for location-based marketing. There were very popular apps that were specifically for the purpose of having people check in to various places that they frequent. While those are declining in popularity, various social media platforms have included the ability to check in at different places and integrated that into the social media platform. Allowing social media users to reveal their locations is one way to use location technologies. Marketers then have the data to target platform users by location so that those things could wind up being very useful, especially to local marketers. So if you're checking in, whether you're a mom and pop that owns a particular business, or if you're part of a larger corporation and perhaps are a franchise of that larger corporation, you can check and see who has checked in to your particular branch, your particular location in a particular place in town, when they frequented, maybe even see some commentary on the reasons that they went there, that they went to meet up with friends, or that they just had time to kill, or they were in serious need of a chicken sandwich or a coffee or whatever it is that the place sells. All that information, very much important to people, and location technologies help to be able to provide that. Retailers are using technology to find when their customers are near or inside the store and provide relevant information to them. If you've been out and about and you find yourself within close proximity to a business, you may find a push notification, or an app that you use gives you information saying, hey, you happen to be close by to such and such a place. Did you know that they have a sale on this right now? And that's another way that they can use location services. The retail level technology that has received the most notice in recent years is the beacon. Beacon is a small, inexpensive Bluetooth device that can communicate with the smartphone of nearby customers. There have been different experiments with this, especially in the UK, that have proven pretty effective for different businesses. Now, location-based technology offers great opportunities, but it also comes with great risks. First off, marketers need to deploy the technology with due regard for the privacy and security of their customers, or they could face significant backlash. The more and more that we are giving up certain freedoms in exchange for being able to use free apps on our phones, and have been looking up different products and services, and the phone and the internet remembers that we've done those sorts of things, we start to kind of get that sense that Big Brother is watching. And there is the caution that we perhaps might be doing a little overkill with the way that we market to people based on viewing habits, based on where they happen to be, and those sorts of things. Most important, though, marketers need to ensure that every mobile service that they deploy adds to the quality of the customer experience. In other words, whenever an app goes into action, based on some of this information that's being gathered, is it truly being something that's perceived by the customer to be of value to them? Or is it seen as an annoyance or as an intrusion to them? So there's a very delicate balance there that has to be walked in order for the use of location-based services to be effective for a business and seen as accepted and embraced by the consumer. Let's talk about mobile customer experience. Customer experience, or CX for short, is not a single event. It is the sum of all customer interactions and the resulting perceptions of the brand. So it's not just one place and point in time. It's a series of touches. It's a series of encounters, a series of communications and the development of a relationship over time and over a series of different means. Now, this definition implies that customer experience is an omni-channel phenomena. All channels that are used by a consumer are important in creating the overall experience. Talking about online and offline, all the different ways that a customer connects with a brand. All these things come into play. So by the same reasoning, any channel, while they can also be enhancing the overall experience, they can also be important in degrading the experience. Satisfying experience, like trust, takes time. It takes effort to build, but it can be destroyed by a single unsatisfactory event. It is very easy to lose trust, to lose confidence, to sour a relationship. So again, a very tight line needs to be walked by businesses in order to develop that relationship with the customer and have it be an overall positive one. If mobile is the first screen for many people on many activities, the mobile experience does become paramount. Marketers must take all possible steps to make the mobile experience a satisfactory one and to integrate mobile and all other channels to the overall experience so as to make it equally satisfactory. So we still kind of see this aspect that mobile is important and mobile is something that is increasingly being used, but it is one of several touches that a brand needs to consider when it interacts with a customer. So it's kind of that idea of mobile and, whether it's mobile and desktop or mobile and physical space or mobile and telephone conversation or whatever the other means of communication is. Even traditional media like radio and television. Mobile might be the first touch, but it's going to generally be not the only touch that a customer is going to have with a brand. Good customer experience drives customer loyalty, which in turn drives customer lifetime value. This goes beyond the conversation of mobile. It goes to every aspect of what it means to be in business. Mobile customer experience is created by micro moments throughout the day. So what do we mean by that? Micro moments here is talking about the fact that with mobile, people may not spend a lot of time with your particular app or your particular web page or whatever that they are interacting with you on the mobile phones. But those very short moments do not mean that they're insignificant. Here's 4 ways that micro moments play a role. First off, the customer wants to know. Smartphone users turn to their phones for very brief but very important sessions. If you're trying to look up a piece of information, it may only take you a minute or 2 to be able to do that. But at the moment that you're looking for it, that information is very important. Customers want to go. Customers use their smartphones to search for nearby products, services, stores, all of that being done on a very increasing sort of basis. Customers want to do. 91% of smartphone users turn to their phones for information while completing tasks. So there's the multitasking aspect. Sometimes that task is when they are in a physical store and they're looking up information. Finally, customers want to buy. 82% of people turn to phones to help them to make purchasing decisions. That should be turned to phones, T-O, turn to phones to help them make purchasing decisions. Again, they might not pull the trigger on the mobile device to make the purchase, but they use the phone as a tool to help them decide what it is they want to buy, and at times where they want to buy. Brands need to understand the moments that matter to their customers and how to react to those moments. So those things that we've talked about with those micro moments very much play a factor into that. Understanding the way people use mobile, why they use mobile, and having content available for them that helps them to meet their needs is going to serve you well as a brand. So now, some best practices for social mobile marketing. First off, understand the brand's target audience and the role mobile plays in the daily lives and their shopping habits. What are they using mobile for? When are they using it? Why are they using it? And what happens as a result of them using it? Second, give customers complete control of the data they share with brands. Brands need to strive for complete transparency about how they collect and use consumer data. You want to be very open and honest about those sorts of things. Do you plan on selling the data to other companies? Do you plan on using that data for certain marketing tactics? Or is it basically just for information and building a list? Let customers know that, especially nowadays. If you plan to do international commerce, there's lots of laws out there that govern the way that you collect and use data online, especially with GDPR, which was a law that came out from the European Union that talks about the collection and use of data from online sources. You have to be very careful about that. Third, ensure that information provided to consumers is relevant to their to their current circumstances and has the potential to be immediately useful. The communications must occur at a time that is relevant to the consumer. Mobile is about right now. Mobile is about in the moment. So you want to make sure that the content that is provided from your brand is useful to consumers in the moment they are in. As search becomes increasingly important in the mobile arena, marketers need to take special care that their sites are optimized for mobile search. Consumers tend to search when they need something, and they tend to act on the results of that search. So make sure your content is very easily looked at and sought and found on mobile devices. Remember that B2B customers are also using mobile and expect content to be available in mobile formats. This is very important, not just for reaching out to consumers. It's important for those important business associates and contacts and that B2B commerce. Finally, mobile experience is a key part of overall customer experience. It is often the entry point to the customer purchase journey and is likely to come into play at various touch points along that journey. So brands must orchestrate their marketing activities so that they provide satisfying customer experience at each and every customer touch point at each stage of the purchase journey. So there you go. There's the notes for Chapter 12. Make sure you take a look at the study questions. Come up with your own questions and comments and bring them with you when we come together to discuss the chapter.